There's a place in Jerusalem where the air feels thicker, where time slows, where history doesn't rest. It waits. It doesn't flash like the Golden Dome or echo like the Western Wall. But if you stand long enough before it, you will feel it. A pressure, a weight, a silence that speaks. It is the Eastern Gate, also known as the Golden Gate, the Gate of Mercy. And it has been sealed for nearly 500 years, but now something is changing. And that's what we're going to talk about in today's video, the Eastern Gate. Reports speak of dust falling from stone, cracks forming, vibrations without explanation, not loud, but persistent, subtle, like a breath before speech. A gate that prophecy says will open again. When the king returns to the untrained eye, it's nothing, just ancient stone and mortar, baked in Middle Eastern sun. Another artifact in a city overflowing with relics, but the Eastern Gate is no ordinary doorway. It faces the Mount of Olives, directly across the Kidron Valley. And both Jewish and Christian prophecy agree, when the Messiah returns, he will come through that gate. It's not metaphor, it's not poetry, it's geographical, intentional, sacred. And that's why in the 1500s, the gate was sealed shut. Not by accident, not by decay, but by royal order. Suleiman the Magnificent, Ottoman ruler, commanded it. No explanation was given, but his timing spoke volumes. Jerusalem was buzzing with messianic expectation. The scriptures said the Anointed One would come from the east, through that gate. So he sealed it and built a cemetery in front of it. Why? Because under Jewish law, a priest may not cross a graveyard without defilement. It was as if he tried to create a spiritual firewall. A man-made barrier against divine destiny. But has history ever succeeded in blocking God? The prophet Ezekiel saw it before it happened. In exile, far from Jerusalem, he had a vision. The glory of the Lord departing the temple, leaving through the Eastern Gate, and then returning the same way. Ezekiel 10, Ezekiel 43, departure and return, exile and restoration, presence and silence. Centuries later, Jesus on the eve of Passover walks the same path. From the Mount of Olives across the valley into Jerusalem. Not in power, not with armies, but riding a donkey. Fulfilling Zechariah 9:9, rejoice greatly, daughter of Zion. Your king comes to you, righteous and victorious, lowly and riding on a donkey. And he enters through that gate, the Eastern Gate. The crowd shouts Hosanna, but their understanding is incomplete. He is king, but not of the kind they expected. He comes to redeem, not to reign yet. Then after his resurrection he ascends, not from a random hill, but from the Mount of Olives. And the angel declares, this same Jesus who has been taken from you into heaven will come back in the same way. Acts 1:11, from where the Mount of Olives, facing what? The Eastern Gate. It's not coincidence, it's choreography. Heaven doesn't move at random, it moves with precision. Today the gate remains sealed, stone upon stone, unmoving. But the city around it pulses with tension. The prayers of the Western Wall never cease. The Golden Dome glistens, the markets scream with life, but here, at the Eastern Gate, it is quiet, almost too quiet. But the watchers are speaking. Tour guides have noticed the dust falling without wind. Engineers whisper of misalignments, subtle but growing, and some have felt it, a vibration beneath the earth, a pressure in the wall, a groaning from within the stone. No official report confirms it, but something ancient is stirring. But prophecy doesn't sleep, it doesn't forget, and it doesn't grow tired. It lingers in silence, pressing through generations like a slow-burning fire, never consumed, never extinguished. And while the world races forward, chasing headlines, building kingdoms of sand, fighting over ideologies and empires, there are places where time folds inward and eternity leaks through the cracks. The Eastern Gate is one of those places. What other city on earth bears such concentrated weight? Where else does geography collide with theology? Stone with spirit, past with promise. Jerusalem isn't merely ancient, it's alive with anticipation. And the gate, though sealed, is not silent in the spirit. It hums beneath the surface of reality. Its stone aching under the pressure of time fulfilled. There's a truth rarely spoken aloud, but deeply known by those who study the word. Before the return comes the stirring. Before the trumpet, the tremble. Before the glory, the groaning. Romans 8 tells us that creation itself groans, waiting for the revealing of the sons of God. And what is the Eastern Gate if not a participant in that same groaning? A structure under strain, not from erosion, but from expectation. It has stood in silence for centuries, but silence in Scripture has never meant absence. It means preparation. And now, after empire and exile, after crucifixion and resurrection, after dispersion and return, this city, this gate, this moment may once again be aligning. Jesus never told us to obsess over dates, but he told us to watch. In Matthew 24, he warned of wars, of rumors, of shaking ground. And he told a parable of the fig tree. When it puts forth leaves, you know summer is near. That tree is Israel, and in 1948, it blossomed again. A nation reborn after 2,000 years. That wasn't politics, that was prophecy. And Jesus added, when you see these things, know that it is near, even at the door. At the door, was he speaking metaphorically or geographically? Was he pointing to a literal gate? Could the door be the eastern gate itself? Hebrews 11:3 says, what is seen was not made out of what was visible, which means what you can touch is not the full story. The visible world is only a shadow and echo of something greater. The Eastern Gate isn't just an architectural feature. It is a threshold, a spiritual pressure point, a prophetic doorway between earth and heaven. God doesn't shout, he whispers. Elijah heard him not in the earthquake or fire, but in a still small voice. So why would we expect fire and fanfare here? Maybe the dust is the whisper, maybe the vibration is the sign. Maybe the groaning stone is heaven's breath. Maybe it has already begun. Picture the moment. A gate, long forgotten, begins to move. Not with explosion, but with trembling. It may not make the news. There may be no headlines. But in heaven, trumpets may already be warming up. When the gate opens, physically or spiritually, it will not just mark an event. It will mark a return. The return of the King. Not as a teacher, not as a martyr, but as the Lion of Judah, the one who was and is to come. The Eastern Gate is more than history. It is destiny in stone, and it is watching, waiting, trembling. The world sleeps, but prophecies don't. If your spirit stirred during this message, that's not emotion. That's alignment. The gate may be sealed, but the clock is not. Subscribe to this channel if you feel the urgency. Comment below, I'm watching the gate. Hit the bell, because the next sign might not come from a pulpit. It may come from stone. The King is drawing near. Will you be ready when the gate opens?